Alright, so today we're looking at base 10 blocks and how they relate to decimals. So, there are times where the cube, the base 10 block that has 1,000 little pieces in it, is going to represent one whole. In these instances, when the cube represents one whole, then the flats would represent tenths, rods, hundredths, and little units, thousandths. There are also times where the flat's going to represent one whole, and when the flat represents one whole, the rods are going to be tenths and the units are going to be thousandths. So let's look at our seat work for today. So looking at this, we see that the flat represents one whole. So I notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4 flats. So I have 4 holes. Next, I count my rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rods. Finally, I count my units, and I have 1, 2 units. So my answer is 4 and 72 hundredths. And number 2, the flat is still one whole. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rods, and 1 unit. So 5 and 91 hundredths. Now this one, the flat is still a whole, but I have 0 flats. So I'm going to put 0 for the flats piece. Then I count my rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have 8 tenths for my rods and 1 hundredth or unit. So 0 and 81 hundredths. Okay, this one, I have the flat is still a whole, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flats. I have 1, 2, 3 rods, which represents 3 tenths, and I have 0 units. So it's 6 and 30 hundredths. So now I'm getting where my where my cube is a whole. So I have 1 cube. Now in this one, I don't have any flats, which means I have 0 tenths because there are no flats. Next, I have rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rods. And then finally my units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 1 and 85 thousandths. Next, I have my cube as a whole. Well, I don't have any cubes, so I'm going to put 0 for the whole. Then I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 rods for my 4 flats for my tenths. Then my rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for my hundredths. And my little units, 1, 2, 3, 4 for my thousandths. So 0 and 474 thousandths. Now this one, I have flat as my whole, and I have 0 flats, so I'm going to put 0. Then I count my rods, and I have 1, 2 rods. Okay. Then I count my little units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units. So my answer would be 0 and 26 hundredths. Okay, number 8. So I look at my flat as a whole, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flats. And then next, my tenths or rods, 1, 2, 3 tenths, and 0 units. So I have 9 and 30 hundredths. This one, my cube is a whole. I have 0 cubes, and I also have 0 flats. So I'm going to put 0 for that too. I have 1 rod, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little units. So it's 0 and 16 thousandths. Now my last one, the flat is a whole. 1, 2, 3 flats. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rods representing my tenths. And then finally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths or little units. So I have 3 and 78 hundredths.